My name's Martin Pryor and welcome to my U-boat workshop. Well, it's not really a U-boat, but it kind of feels like that sometimes with the kind of lack of space and the amount of equipment we've got in here. Anyway, I thought it'd be a good idea this time to do a build log for my latest project, which is an OTW Type 2 German submarine. Now, I've built quite a few submarines over the years, but as I say, I thought it'd be nice this time to sort of document the build of this particular boat, as it's kind of a bit of a more manageable size. Now, the moulds arrived yesterday from my friend Bob Dimmock, and very nice they are too. The actual boat itself measures some 53.5 inches long, which is a nice size to take down the pond. A few other boats I have fairly large and difficult, and you need a fairly big wagon, to take them down the pond. But this one, you should be able to get, in your wife's car if you have to whiz down to the pond, and should be pretty good. Now, a bit of history behind this boat. The Type 2 was manufactured in 1935, and it was a predecessor of the Type 7, which you're probably more aware of, which features as in films like Das Boot, that sort of stuff. But this particular boat was never capable of doing that sort of stuff. It was more of a coastal submarine. It just didn't have the range or the capacity torpedo-wise to be able to deal with long distances. The main problem with this particular boat was the fact that it didn't have any bulkheads inside the hull, and the Germans nicknamed it the dugout canoe. So if you ended up getting a leak somewhere in the boat, it's a good chance you weren't coming back again. But other than that, excuse me, it dived pretty quickly, and it was, later on in the war, it was a good training boat, and I think many of the top U-boat commanders cut their teeth in the Type 2. So a good thing really to find out more about the boat is get yourself a book or something like that, which would be very useful. I managed to pick up this particular book from a military fair a few years ago, which was pretty good. Not seen this one before. And inside it's got all the documentation on boats from U1 to U24. Got all your conning tower colours, some lovely photographs in here, which you can, if you're doing something specific, some specific U-boat, you can find all the details in here, and which is very useful, and all the various colours and camouflage details from the various years, which is really good. And also it's got some details of wreck sites and stuff like that, which is pretty useful if you want that documentation to back up your model. So try and get yourself something like that, and that'll be fairly useful. When you're actually building the boat. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to first of all lay out exactly what we're going to do with this particular boat, and I'll go through with you what was in the kit when I got it from Bob the other day. Basically I've got two hulls here. One I'm building for myself, and the other one's a commission. So I've got a little production line going on, I suppose, if you call it that. But what I'll do is I'll lay out what we're going to do in stage one, and then I'll go away and do that and come back, and then we'll carry on with the next stage. So what we got in the kit is we got the mould, which is basically built up of two halves, a top bottom half, which is a fairly nice finish on the moulds, as we'd expect from OTW. It's a very new boat, so I don't expect to see many of them around at the moment. So you've got the top and bottom mould in the kit, the conning tower, which goes on there. I know it looks a bit weird. Looks a bit weird at the moment because it's in a different colour. So, but I reckon once it's all painted up, and that, I think it's going to look pretty cool. And I'm quite looking forward to getting it on the water. So we've got that, the conning tower. We've also got the prop shafts for the boat. That's really nice. We've got some resin cast fittings for the rudder and the dive planes, and some various other things like the aerial anchor, and some other bits and pieces like the I don't know, looks like a few bits and pieces inside the conning tower. Also, we've got some metal work here for the rear of the boat. You know, the propeller shafts and the dive planes and the propellers. That's really good. And in here we've got the guns, the deck guns for this particular boat. I haven't opened them yet, but there's one deck gun on the front. Now you don't have to use that deck gun because I think in some of the early models there was a sort of like a telescopic piece that came up, and they kind of run out the conning tower and fix the gun to it, and then that's the way they used it. But it was a bit of a pain in the neck. I think took too long to get it all sorted out. So in the end, after a bit of experimentation, they used a fixed gun. So depending on which particular model you want to use, you're going for, then you may or might use it, and you'll find that in this book the various marks in here which you can choose and see which one you want to use. So you also get a nice flag in there as well. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Nice little German flag at the back, and that's what's in the kit. Now these moulds are GRP, glass reinforced. Very nice mould, very strong, which is what you want for an RC submarine. There are other materials on the market. You know, there's you could use ABS, which is some of the plastic kits, and 3D printed stuff now is coming onto the market, but that's not really strong enough at the moment. It has to be reinforced. I think in the future, obviously, I think that's probably where we're going, and it'll end up with probably 3D printed parts rather than GRP. So, but at the moment, I kind of like this material. It's really strong, so when you're lifting the boat out of the water, you know, it's not going to be folding up on you. So, it makes a very nice model. So basically, what we're going to be doing in stage one is we're going to be putting some pins in the hull to locate the top and bottom holes, and we're going to do that by using some 3mm stainless steel bar rod or brass, whichever you happen to use. We're going to pin in probably a 246 or something like that, so that we can locate these two holes together. So then we can finish off and make a nice join line all the way around. So you know, it looks really nice, and in which case you might have to do a little bit of filling in places to get that really nice. And I suggest that possibly if you're going to use a filler, you could use it like P38 or something like that, which is unfortunately is porous. It's okay, use it okay, but there's always a case that it can absorb some water. So if you use something like this marine filler by plastic padding, this is really good stuff. And you can fix a lot of the fittings inside with this because it's really hard stuff, and it works very well, and it doesn't, you know, so it doesn't absorb any water and end up by cracking off. So that's something you may well get from your local shop, possibly. I've got mine online, which is a little bit cheaper. So yeah, so once we've done the pinning, we're then going to cut out the vent holes, which are marked here on the hull, and you may be able to see that. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but they're yeah, you can see they're raised, which makes it easier. So you need to cut those out, and Bob provides a nice description, laying out all the the plans of how to make the boat, you know, in a proper order with some nice photographs and that sort of stuff. A sort of build line which you get with it. I mean, you also get this very nice layout drawing. This very nice layout drawing which gives you a layout of the boat, and how nice does that look. Now, as you say, this particular model is a Type 2B, which was from U7 onwards, but up to beyond U12, I think, if you find in the book, they started to make some changes to the conning tower, because it's got this little ridge in it here where the aerial went. Well, I think after U12, I think they cut that off and put it in the top. So I think you've got a range of sort of up to U12 if you're going to use that type of conning tower. Yeah, so we're going to cut these flow vent holes in here, and it shows you what it is. And in that, in the kit, you also get this nice little oh, forgot, the other thing that is in the kit as well is this very nice pack of photo etched brass plates, which are all cut out nicely for the deck and for parts of the conning tower, which makes it look really cool. This is really nice. Gives it a nice real feel. So that's really nice, and some added little bits of rod and bits and stuff like that you may need. So yes, so what I was saying is you get this template in the mould, which makes it a lot easier, and you can lay that up and stick that, take that on there, drill through, and then you can file out your vent holes. Now, they don't actually match up perfectly with the raised parts on there, but that doesn't matter. It's better just to take that on there, and then when you cut the holes, there'll be some little bits of raised, and you can sand those off afterwards, which is okay. So that's really good. There are some holes you don't want to cut out, like the hydrophones, but that's all documented, as I say, in the description. But if you do make a mistake, then you'll just have to fill it up and sand it off again. So that's what we're going to do, and also we'll probably cut out the torpedo tubes. And there's 3 torpedo tubes on this particular boat, port and starboard, and one central one here. Now, we're not going to utilise these two. These just have a sort of a cover on them, which sort of peel back into the fuselage. Now, we've got some resin covers we're going to put on there. We're just going to put those on there, but this one we're going to cut this out because the tube actually lies a bit further back here, and we may put a proper tube in here, and there's a good chance we might even be able to put a working torpedo in, but a lot will depend on the WTC, that's the watertight cylinder, which is going to go inside this compartment here. Now, I haven't had that yet. Bob's going to supply that in a few weeks' time, and once I get that in there, I'll then know how much room there is inside, and see what you know, what room there is left to put anything like a working torpedo, maybe something like that. So that's what we're going to do there, and then after that we're going to cut out these holes here for the propeller shafts and put the keel on it. But that will probably be in stage 2, but we'll see how far we get in stage 1. So that's where we are at the moment, and hopefully when you come back, I will have done all this, and then we can kind of move on to the next stage, in stage 2. So I'll see you in stage 2.